Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. For today's video, man, we got 2021 NBA mock draft by Hoops Reference. Not gonna lie, man, this is literally how I get like 97.3% of my college hoops knowledge, because, you know, if I ain't the Michigan Wolverines, I'm probably not watching them, man. But yeah, obviously my Detroit Pistons this season are gonna have like the worst record in the NBA, so mock drafts are gonna be fun until the actual draft lottery happens and we end up getting like the damn 9th pick in the draft or something like that. Then I'm going to be very upset. But here we go. 2021 NBA mock draft. Let's see what's going on these days. Hoops Reference, link to his channel in the description below. My throat's a little sore, by the way, guys. Pause. Because over on my main channel, Crispy Flakes, I did like a 48-minute podcast of me giving my 1 month analysis of every NBA team 1 month after the season, because it's been about season now. So if you guys want to go check that out, yeah, okay. Talk about every team.
Another month has passed, a lot of basketball has been played, lots of different players are making a name for themselves at the college and international level, and because of this, it's time for
Cade.
this month's installment of the mock draft
even
series
Evan
here
Mobley
on this channel, where I post one mock draft every month leading up to the real thing. This is the second update of the mock for this year,
I think I missed the first
since
one.
the last one, there have been quite a few changes to the overall landscape, making for an interesting update. This is a good way to keep up with how the top prospects in the class are trending, as well as being able to match them up with potential team fits at the next level.
Yes, sir.
As always, the order of the teams picking in this mock draft are based on the current NBA standings, so they're not just randomly selected by me in any way. Before we start though, it turns out about 67% of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel.
What's up with that?
So please, if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button.
Go subscribe, guys. What are y'all doing, man?
A ton, but I would also very much appreciate it.
Gotta grow our
with that being
channels.
said, let's begin. Starting at the end of the lottery and working our way
in relation to Jerry, I'm gonna guess probably not, but maybe. You never know.
Up to the highly coveted #1 pick, the Memphis Grizzlies select Jaden Springer from Tennessee. Springer is an interesting prospect to monitor, and scouts seem to be torn on him and his NBA potential, but he has, without question, been highly productive for Tennessee so far this year. He's still fairly young, being only 18 years old, but he's been an efficient scorer, making 53% of his shots and 56% of his threes, albeit in a small sample size so far, and in the pick and roll, he's shown off an advanced understanding of the game, ranking in the 97th percentile in these possessions in all of college. He lacks the convincing creation and ability to make separation that NBA teams tend to like from their guards, but he's still a strong talent nonetheless. Next up, with the 13th pick in the draft, the Houston Rockets own the Thunder pick, and they select Sharife Cooper from Auburn. Cooper was...
Why they got the Thunder pick? I thought the Thunder had like... Do they really have the Thunder pick? Wow. Everybody's saying the Thunder should be tanking this season, but damn, not if they don't got a first-round pick. Go for them damn playoffs.
Forced to miss most of the early part of the season due to eligibility issues, but since his debut for the team, he's been making an instant impact, putting up some impressive production. In the 3 games he's played so far, he's averaging a highly impressive 22 points and 10 assists per game, demonstrating an incredibly impressive ability to command the floor, make the right play, let the play develop around him, and appropriately decide whether to attack or give it up. One thing he does need to improve upon is his overall shot selection and perimeter shooting, but again, he just recently returned to the court, and so far, he's done way more good than bad. Next up, with the 12th pick in the draft, the Denver Nuggets select Corey Kispert from Gonzaga. Corey has been flying up draft boards recently because, quite frankly, he's been having a terrific season and has the kind of skill set that will always be useful in the NBA. Corey is pretty much inarguably the draft's best shooter, making 49% of his threes this year, is he? But most importantly is he's not just a shooter. At a strong 6'7" height, he also uses his size to his advantage off the dribble, and when he's forced off the three-point line, he gets into the paint and finishes incredibly strong and efficient.
So he'd be like
he's
a Nick
Stauskas,
maybe.
60% of his shots this year and 70% of his two-point attempts, and seeing as he's averaging 21 points per game this season, it's clearly a big enough sample size to take seriously. Next up, with the 11th pick in the draft, the New York Knicks select Daishen Nix from the G League. Daishen Nix could prove to be one of the best overall floor generals at the point.
That's really cool, actually. Y'all see that, man? Daishen Nix on the Knicks. I am all for that already. Like, that is the team he is destined to go to.
wildcard position in this draft, and it's still looking like that's an area of need for the
And he will be a
Knicks.
superstar
His
if he goes to the
floor
Knicks.
vision, pure passing ability, and overall decision-making all stand out in a big way when he's initiating the offense. With the G League season starting next month, we'll finally be able to see him play against strong competition and assess him from there.
He elbowed that dude in the face.
What we've seen from him so far, he's a very talented young guard. Up next with the 10th pick in the draft, the New Orleans Pelicans select Moses Moody from Arkansas. Moody falls into the 3-and-D archetype player category.
I think that's Cade Cunningham over there, so you might say this is like, if Cade is LaMelo, then Moses would be like a Kongwu, right?
As he has fantastic measurables as a strong 6'6" player with long arms that he uses to pester opponents and make plays on the defensive end with. He's making about 40% of his threes as a good spot-up shooter, and what also impresses scouts is his promising off-ball movement as a slasher and cutter, using that size to finish strong at the basket and make plays without the ball in his hands for easy opportunities. He compares somewhat to players like Mikal Bridges, DeAndre Hunter, and
Mikal for sure.
Recent drafts, but he could have even more offensive upside than all three of them. Next up, with the 9th pick of the draft, the Atlanta Hawks select James Bouknight from UConn. Bouknight is another player that has shot up draft boards as the season has progressed because he's been one of the best bucket getters in the nation to this point, and he has a pro-level ability to create. He has a strong ability to handle the ball and get to his spots off the dribble. He's a very good finisher around the basket.
Decent jumper.
He has a nice pull-up jumper in the mid-range and is a confident shooter from anywhere on the floor. There has been talk about some Hawks players looking for Trae Young to ease back on his offensive carrying ways, and bringing in another scorer like this could help Trae transition into more of a playmaker that trusts those around him. Next up, with the 8th pick in the draft, the Chicago Bulls select Ziaire Williams from Stanford.
Is that D-Wade's son?
Williams admittedly got off to a pretty rough start to the season, but recently he's been looking much more comfortable out on the floor, and his production has improved as a result, which is exactly what you want from a top prospect like this. He recently put up a triple-double in a game. He's been much more reliable knocking down his shots, and at 6'8", he's been demonstrating his impressive
you can tell from some of these players too, because they're all in high school right here, but you could just kind of see like which ones have like that physique, given talent and stuff like that. That's really going to help them grow and be better like college and NBA players.
To create off the dribble.
But I will say too, I do get impressed when I see like average looking dudes on these lists, just because like to me, the physicality will also only get you so far. Like if you're just all physique and you're just like taller than everybody on the other like JV team or whatever, that ain't gonna get you farther than the NBA. So I also like seeing just like the basketball IQ and stuff.
Confidently,
that's why I should be a scout, man. I'd be a great scout.
Over defenders with his size and length. That ability to separate raises his ceiling as a scorer, and it's why, despite inconsistent season that he's having so far, scouts are still pretty high on him overall.
Like a Chris Middleton.
Next, with the 7th pick in the draft, the Oklahoma City Thunder own the Rockets pick, and they select Scottie Barnes.
Oh, okay, they got their pick.
Barnes is a jack of all trades type of player as a forward who gives you a little bit of everything out on the floor on both ends. He's been compared to Draymond Green for several reasons, as he's a very good playmaker for a player at this position.
That shit out of there.
He's a smart decision maker, he's incredibly strong, and he has a good handle of the basketball. He currently leads his team in assists despite playing as a forward. He's comfortably shut down opponents on defense at several different positions, and his wingspan is highly impressive, which allows him to disrupt tons of plays. He projects as a highly impactful player in any rotation.
Did you guys see that right there, man? This right here.
Tons.
Wait, before that.
2-inch wingspan is highly
He's talking, man. I like
which
that.
Allows him to disrupt tons of plays. He projects as a highly impactful batter in this instance.
Good communication.
Next up,
Jalen Johnson,
at number 6, we once again have the Oklahoma City Thunder picking who owned the Miami Heat's pick.
Oh my
God.
God.
With it, they select Jalen Johnson from Duke. Unfortunately, Johnson has missed a good amount of time this season due to injury, but he has looked very good in the time that we've seen him on the court. He's a strong 6'9" player that can play either forward position on both ends, and he uses his top-tier athleticism, strength, and quickness to overwhelm opponents when he gets to the basket. He seems like a very well-rounded player that can impact both ends of the floor, and if his jumper starts to fall more consistently, his ceiling could be as high as anybody's. Next up, with the 5th pick in the draft, the Sacramento Kings select Jonathan Kuminga from the G League. Kuminga's another player who opted to play in the G League this year before the draft, and their season starts in February, so we will have to wait a bit before we get to see him in action. He is a strong, explosive combo
He shoots
forward
like
with a
Alfred
physical
Camino.
frame as good as anybody in the class, and his ball skills were trending upward when we last saw him on the court. He has the talent to push himself into the conversation to be at the very top of this draft. But we'll revisit that discussion when his season actually gets underway and we see him play again. Up next with the 4th pick.
Bro, where's the one dude on Michigan at? What's his name, bro? Dickinson. Dude's been a beast. Freshman, 7-footer.
In the draft, the Toronto Raptors select Jalen Green from the G League. Green is a guy that got the G League movement started as he was ranked the best recruit in the country by a few major outlets, and he bypassed college
you look like a damn
first
problem.
to go
Oh my
this
God,
route,
bro.
leading to more players following suit afterward. Green falling outside of the top
It's like a
30
Donovan
is by
Mitchell.
no means an indictment on him as a player, and more so
Oh,
just a result
damn!
of the 3
That's freaking Donovan Mitchell right there, guys. That's a taller D-Mitch. That's like a 6'4" Donovan. Okay, for
before
sure.
him, all having incredibly strong starts to the year, while we haven't seen him play at all yet. But when he gets going, he's definitely going to put himself back in the mix at the very top of this class as one of, if not the best scorers and athletes available.
Crazy.
Next up with
Jalen
the 3rd
Suggs.
pick in the draft, the Washington Wizards select Jalen Suggs from Gonzaga. Suggs started the season absolutely on fire, and even though he's cooled down a little bit lately, I'm still a huge believer in his talent and the fact that he will translate to the NBA level. He's an incredible floor general who makes terrific passes and makes life easier for those around him. He's one of the best downhill drivers in the whole class when he gets ahead of steam, who converts well around the rim, and he's a confident shooter from the outside. Plus, he competes hard on defense and should be one of the better perimeter defenders available as well. He
Maybe a
was
D-Wade?
everything you want from a starting point guard in the NBA, which is why he's in
Not like a shooting guard, like a point guard, like Marquette D-Wade. You know what I'm saying? Where like maybe later on in his career he becomes a shooting guard.
top 3 right now. Next up with the
Evan
2nd
Mobley,
pick in
this
the
guy's a
draft,
beast.
the Minnesota Timberwolves
Yeah.
select Evan Mobley from USC. There is a
Low key, if the Pistons don't get Cade, I want Evan Mobley. I just like what this kid does. He's a beast.
lot of talent at the top of this draft, so after the first pick, I think the Wolves will go with the player who fits their team the
Oh, him and
best,
Cat, yes,
being
sir.
Evan Mobley.
Yes.
Karl Anthony Towns has always worked best with a defensive anchor alongside him. The team just hasn't been able to find a permanent solution for that role yet, and with Mobley being the best defensive big man in the class, it's a perfect match.
He's gonna be Anthony
Mobley
Davis.
has a lot of Bam Adebayo in him, meaning that on
Bam
top of
Adebayo.
being a rim protector, he can hold his own when switched out onto the perimeter, and offensively, he's very versatile and can be used in many different sequences.
Could be a
both
Giannis.
inside and out, once again to work to the needs of Karl Anthony Towns. And
There it is, man. Let's
pick
go!
in the draft, the Detroit Pistons
Fade for
select
Cade.
Cunningham from Oklahoma State.
I need
Cunningham
him.
came into the season seen by most as the best player in the draft, and he's played up to that hype to still deserve
I need
that
him.
title. He's a 6'8" point guard with unbelievable
Need
he can
it!
score from all 3
SpongeBob.
levels. He impacts the game in so many different ways just to top it all off. Because of Cunningham's size, he can fit into any lineup alongside other guards or wing players and defend positions 1 through 4. So even though the Pistons just drafted Killian Hayes last year,
Hey, we
it
run both
wouldn't
together.
stop them from pouncing on the opportunity to add someone of Cunningham's talent level. And with that being said, that's
Yes,
all
need Cade Cunningham in Detroit. If we don't get him, I'm going to cry. Either want him, Evan Mobley, or I do want this, what's the other guy's name? Number 4 guy, not Suggs. Yeah, Jalen Green. I want Jalen Green either, too. So either of those guys will be happy with, man. That's all we got. Another good analysis by Hoops Reference. Thanks y'all so much for watching, and peace out.